Hello, everybody. So since we had the storm Wednesday night and we're unable to have the lecture, I'm going to put together a series of videos going through the notes sheet. I'll also attach the PDF of this when I conclude. I am using a free online screen recording software, so I'm limited to 15 minutes. So it'll be a series of videos that will include the content for the Unit 5 introduction. So I'm also going to go a little bit faster, so feel free to pause, stop, email me questions, text me questions. All right, so first topic is interest, taxes, and discounts, and we're going to begin with simple interest. So this first equation really is a way that someone can calculate simple interest on an item or an experience. So what the P, the R, and the T stand for, the P stands for principal, which is the cost of the item or experience that you are dealing with. R is the rate. T is the amount of time that the interest will be taking place. And then what are we responsible for? So this next equation here calculates the total amount, the final amount. So the amount is equal to the principal plus the interest. So let's take look at a couple examples that deal with simple interest. So in example 1 on page 768, it discusses a loan charging 32% simple interest for 2 years. And we're going to look at specifically a $600 loan. So if we're looking at the total interest of an object, we're going to use that first equation, I equals PRT. So the interest is going to be equal to the principal, which is $600, times the rate, 32%. We're going to convert that to a decimal, and the time, which is 2 years. And we can use a calculator to calculate the interest. Let's get rid of these first. So $600 principal, 32% interest over 2 years is going to create a $384 amount for interest. All right, so what if we're not dealing with year amounts? What if we look at the same circumstance, but just for 3 months? So this spot here is for number of years. So really we could think of 3 months as a quarter of a year. So if I was looking for the interest that took place over just 3 months instead of the 2-year tenure, we would do the same equation, $600, 32% interest rate, and then 3 out of 12 months to give us that quarter of a year. And we can figure out the interest of just that amount of time. So let's pull that up. So I'm just going to change 2 to 3 divided by 12. So it looks like over 3 months it'll be a $48 interest payment. All right, and so now we're going to utilize that second equation to figure out the total amount to be paid at the end of the 2 years. So total amount is going to be the principal plus the amount of interest we calculated. So $600 plus $384 is going to require a total payment of $984 to resolve that loan. All right, the next section here that we're going to talk about is taxes, which this should be pretty familiar to us as people who purchase probably very regularly. This example is really convenient for us because it requires a 6% sales tax, which is what we deal with in Michigan. So let's look at Mary buying an item at $84, and we can calculate the sales tax merely by multiplying the item amount times the tax rate. And the reason we don't have to calculate time is because state tax, sales tax occurs when you purchase an item, so it's an immediate addition to the principal of the item. So $84 times 6% means we have an interest, or I guess, excuse me, a tax of $5.04. So to figure out total cost of the item, and this happens when we purchase, total cost of the item is going to be the cost plus the tax. So $84 plus tax. It's going to require us to pay $89.04 for this item, or Mary, rather. Discounts occur very similarly. It's just more in our favor because it takes a percentage off of the principal of the item. So if we're looking at Mr. McWaters purchasing a $42 item, and he has a coupon of 20%, so we can figure out the discount by multiplying the item price by the discount rate. So $42 times 20%, $8.40. So to figure out the price that Mr. McWaters is going to be paying, we would take the original. So how much did he have to pay? He is going to pay the original minus the discount, which ends up being $33.60. And then if he is in the same state, we would then apply a 6% sales tax to that, but we're just looking at the discount example here. All right, let's take a look at our next subject, compound interest. So we were dealing with simple interest. Compound interest is a circumstance where interest is calculated not only on an original principal, but also on the interest that's earned over time. So let's get that definition down. Interest is calculated not only on the principal, but also on the earned interest. Earned interest. So, looking at this mathematically, we have this formula here that says the total amount that someone would be paying after compounding for n periods. And what that means is n is our time that the interest has accrued. And we're looking at the future value, meaning how much we're paying over time. So a to the n is the amount. A sub n is the amount. P is the principal. R is our rate. And n is our time. If you're wondering why there's a 1 right here, this formula gives you the cost that you'll pay at the end of an experience, which includes the principal. So if we're thinking about 1 as a percentage, 1 exists as 100%, meaning that's the representation of the principal portion of a compounding experience, and then the R represents the interest component. So let's take a look at this in a couple examples. So finally, accumulated interest, amount and interest. So for part A, we have a $8,000 loan, 8% rate, compounded annually once a year for 5 years. So to figure out the total accumulated amount, we're going to use that formula. So $8,000 times 1 plus, we're going to convert 8% to 0.08. And it's happening over 5 years. I'm going to simplify this a little bit. 8,000 times 1.08 to the 5th power. And this is now in a circumstance where we can put this into our calculator. the fifth power. So we're looking at $11,000, $11,754.62. So our total amount at the end of this experience is this total. So if we wanted to find only what we're paying in interest, you're going to take the total amount, subtract the principal. So interest is going to be total amount minus the principal. So we're going to get $3,754.62 is our total interest by the end. All right, let's look at a circumstance where interest is compounded semi-annually. So in this next example, principal of $3,500, 2% rate, and it's compounded for 10 years, but it's being compounded twice a year, semi-annually meaning twice a year. So when we do our equation for the total amount, it's going to be principal converted to a decimal, and instead of being brought to the 10th power, we have compounding happening twice a year for 10 years. So that's going to be 20 as our exponent. So let's simplify this. And now we're at a place where we can put this into a calculator. Oops, excuse me. 3,500, 1.02 to the 20th power. So it looks like our total payment is $5,200, and we'll round to 82 cents. And if we want to figure out the interest for this experience, we're going to take our total amount and subtract our principal. And we get that our interest for this experience, so let's go back here, I'm going to subtract 3,500, is $1,782 cents. $1,700.82. All right, I'm going to conclude this video here, and I'll start on the next one.